I still gotta grab a couple things before we start, but we'll be kicking off here pretty shortly. I think the first thing I gotta do, I gotta take off my boots. I have them. I'm wearing them because I've been trying to break them in, so they're on my feet. I can't do anything with them right now, so this will just take a minute. Song is too intense for what I'm doing. Let's see, what's a good mood today? Rock? I don't know. Let's see how this goes. No. Nope. Let's see here. Ambient? Yeah, this is right. This is the right feeling. Okay. These on here. So today we are going to be waterproofing my new boots. This is something that I've been not doing yet, and I really should have done it earlier. But I just got them. I was kind of not sure whether I was gonna have to return them or anything like that. So I've not worn them out of the house at all. So these are brand spanking new. What we're going to be applying today is this stuff here called SNO-SEAL. So SNO-SEAL is a really good product for waterproofing leather. I need to go grab a pair of gloves, and I need to grab a few paper towels, and yeah, I'm not going to do the camera looking this way today. It's just kind of not in the cards. I'll for a lot of what I'm doing though, I'm going to be showcasing a lot of this whole desk space, so we'll see. I'll zoom out a little bit. That'll be a little bit easier for us to see what's going on with these. So I'm going to go. I'll be right back. All right, let's move this computer stuff out of the way. Can't have that getting junk on it. Alrighty, alrighty-o. What are we doing here? We are gonna make sure that everything's working as we desire. That's good to do every time and again. Yep, everything seems to be functional. Let me double check that. Just before I get my hands all full of junk, I just gotta make sure. All right, category and everything. All this out of the way. Get my headphones plugged in. Sick. Okay. I'm trying to decide how much I want to be sitting. I don't know how much I really want to be sitting right now. Oops. Whoopsie daisies. Sorry about that. Rebooted that camera. Hopefully it'll come on back online without too much finagling here. We're just gonna do this guy a little favor. Reboot it. There we go. Okay. So, what's next? Heat gun. Get our heat gun rolling. So, we're using a heat gun today. Because what is this maker stream without some sort of loud, annoying thing happening? You know, usually it's just a sharpening stone. This time it's going to be our heavy-duty hair dryer. Got that. Okay, I'm psyched. So today we are going to be applying SNO-SEAL to some things. I managed to find the heaviest duty, biggest can of SNO-SEAL I possibly could. This little friend right here. Usually get much smaller containers, but I found it in this this quart jar here, which is really nice. And we have, so excited, my new Thorogood boots. I've been running some boots that I got from the thrift store. They were like brand new from the thrift store, but they were Carolinas. I got them like 9 years ago, and they were completely falling apart. I wore them all the time, and it actually started to affect my ankle. My ankle was getting all screwed up because the heel was literally falling off of the back of the boot. So I decided to, I got 9 years out of one pair of boots. If I get an even higher quality pair of boots, it should last me at least as long. So these were a little spendy, but you know, they're really a quality pair of boots. And I went with some of the features of boots that I really like. So these are forest firefighting boots. And I'm not that hardcore. I'm just a regular dude. I don't do any forest firefighting. But the reason why I wanted to get this kind of boot is because of this heel right here. I really like this heel, especially when you're walking around in the woods. You'll get this with like logging boots as well. And this is really nice for like stepping over branches and stuff. And you get pretty good purchase on lots of things. You don't get tripped up as much with a big heel. It also makes me approximately 2 or 3 inches taller. So I'm basically just wearing heels all the time, which is hilarious, but I'm not above it. Everyone, I'm totally gonna wear those. So I just got hooked on these. I got a pair of forestry boots and I just love the extra heel. You kind of feel like you can really stomp around pretty good. Another reason why I've got these forest firefighting boots is because the leather is much higher quality. It's a lot thicker, and it's just generally built really well. It has a composite toe, so it's not steel toe, but there's a piece of heavy-duty plastic right here that'll hopefully prevent my toe from getting crushed. There's also no steel shank, so on a lot of pairs of work boots, there's a steel shank, which is a piece of metal that goes through the bottom to prevent any punctures. They have a hard piece of plastic there too, and that's to prevent that from heating up as you're walking around in the potential forest fires, so your boots don't heat up as bad. And that's going to be nice for wearing these as winter boots, or just boots around in the winter, because they won't cool down so fast. They also have these really nice this nice gusset on here, and this is going to prevent water from leaking in if I waterproof these appropriately. And they're like, apparently I can stand in like 475 degree coals, or I can stand on hot stuff for like 40 minutes before I'll start to feel it. There's Snow Seal like Snow Seal. Well, you're darn right, V.E. Kruger. There is Snow Seal like Snow Seal. I have played around with making my own Snow Seal compound, and I think if I was had a little more faith in that, I would use my own compound, but it's kind of like a lot of work, so I just got a text from Zen showing me a new 3D printing part. And I'm so excited for him. Oh my gosh, so excited. I gotta take off these laces here because I don't really want to get the wax compound on them too much. They'd be fine, but they kind of get in the way. And you want to like really be able to open these up a lot and get the Snow Seal in here. So I'm doing these boots. These are excellent boots. I'm very psyched about them. I have not worn them outside because I wanted to make sure to snow seal them before I got out in the salt, because salt can be damaging to boots. It's a good idea if you have a little bit, if you're worried about salt on your boots this winter, which you should be, keep a little spray bottle with some diluted vinegar in it. And when you get home from being out in the salty roads and stuff, spray down your boots and wipe them down with a little bit of vinegar water. And that'll help dilute the salt. It does something. It causes a chemical reaction or something. These are, another cool thing about these Thorogood boots is that they are made in the US, which is really cool. They're actually put together in the US, which is awesome. And it's union labor. All right, union labor made in the US. Sick. Want to buy those boots. The other boots I'm going to be snow sealing. These are the winter boots I got for my wife last year. And these are made by Kodiak, which is a Canadian company, and these are made in Canada. Solid boots, these. She's starting to wear down the heel here. I think in the next year, we might be wanting to look at getting a cleat or something on the heel to build it back up. You can use this compound called Free Sole to build up a heel again, but likely what we would do is see where this is like split right here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. Where this is split right here, this is two different materials. There's some screws holding this part on. So we can maybe, I don't know if we can order some from the manufacturer, but we can at least take this to a, what's the name for a bootsmith? Cobbler. You can take this to a cobbler and they can put a thing in here or replace this. Oh yeah, so thank you for clarifying, V.E. Kruger. Vinegar just helps dissolve the salt so you can wipe it off with the liquid. Nice. Cobbler, yeah. So these are really good quality boots. I really like these. They weren't too bad. They weren't too expensive, but one of the reasons why... Ooh, this is not good. One of the reasons why I wanted to make sure to get these was because of, if you look on the edges here, and this is a problem here we'll talk about in a bit. If you look at the edges here, see the stitching? The stitching actually exists and goes all the way through here. And so these are not only glued on, they're stitched on, but there's some problems here. So basically the thread broke here, the stitching broke, or it's a lie, one of the two. Looks like it broke. So I'm gonna need to, I have some rubber cement. I don't have any down here in my studio, but I'll be rubber cementing and clamping this a little bit later after I clean this up. But I really like they have some of these nice over stitches on this part here. Look really cool. And they're a little darker because I've already applied Snow Seal to this last year. So as we put in Snow Seal today, one of my main focuses is going to be to melt a ton of the compound into any of, like, the surface is great too to do that, but any of these seams or along the bottom of the boot here and any of these seams, I'm going to try to melt a hell of a lot of it into those spots because that's where it's going to fail. So I'm going to work on my boots here. Work on my boots here for starters. Kind of because I don't know. I want to work on mine, but I'll get to my wife soon too. Now, Snow Seal is really good if you have a pair of boots that are a little tired too. It's great to put a layer on right away. One thing to note about Snow Seal, I was gonna do, and I might still do it, I haven't decided yet. I might do this pair of boots that I have. So this is a pair of, these are like English cowboy boots, like English riding boots, or like just lace-up cowboy boots, and I love them. They make me very happy to wear these around. They're very extra boots. When I apply Snow Seal to these, it's very, very likely that it's going to darken this leather. So this kind of brighter reddish color leather is going to actually turn a lot darker of a brown if I apply Snow Seal to it. So I kind of have to decide if these are even boots that I'll wear in the winter. They're not going to be great on the ice, or anything like that. And there's no reason for anyone to dress up right now, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to do it or not, but I'll do these ones last if I do anything. I still haven't decided whether or not I want to apply it, but it will add years to these boots if I Snow Seal them. Just worth noting about the darkening of leather. I definitely didn't know that a couple times, and darkened leather boots that weren't mine. Oops. Whoopsie daisels. Can't have that. I know a viewer here, V.E. Kruger, just got some new boots I'm really excited about. Some Baffins. Very happy for him. Have you warned them about the house yet, V.E. Kruger? Just sweating profusely as they're rated for very low temps. It baffins the mind, frankly, how warm they are. Good. Probably have the exact wrong tool for this. It's one little hike around the house, that's good. So let me just get out all my pocket stuff. Because I'll be using all these tools probably, some way or another. What tool is best for this? Probably my nit picks. All right, you can see I've like not really gone into this too much. There's still quite a bit left in here. Yum. Smells like chemicals. Probably have a fan down here. That's probably okay. Okay, so you're not my coffee. I'm gonna keep drinking my coffee quick just so I can have this down without touching it and grow stuff. Cool. All right, so this is running. How bad is this sound, Beaker? Is this sound awful? Because we're gonna hear a whole bunch of it. I can always turn down my mics as I do this and have the music on. Sounds fine? Sick. All right, we're gonna start with, should we start with righty or lefty? We're gonna start with righty. Put the other boot down. Moving on it. Wearing gloves today. I don't know why. I've never worn gloves and I've done this before, but you know, I think I'm just like more aware of how probably bad this stuff is for me. Whichever is the squeakiest wheel. They creak pretty bad as I walk around. I'm hoping that gets better once I snow seal these. One thing with snow seal that's really cool is that it'll actually soften the leather a little bit and make it so they'll break in a lot faster. So here I have a boot hand, as you'll see, part of the process. And we're just like, I'm just gonna wipe, just smearing this stuff on all over. And this is going on real thick. And that's because I haven't heated it up at all. And I'll wipe a lot of this up. And my goal is really to get as much of it in these creases as I can in the seams. I'm holding my hand in the boot to kind of help support it as I do my smear. Really trying to get a bunch on these seams. And you can get it everywhere, it's fine. So as you'll see, this is gonna be like really opaque and like, what the heck is he doing? Until we start to heat it up. As we heat this up, it's going to absorb into the leather really well, and you won't even be able to see it. It'll just kind of show up as a shine. Kind of a nice shine on these. And some people say to do your boot shining before you do the snow sealing. I don't really want that shiny of boots. It'll be shiny enough just with the snow seal. I'm not going on a parade. Just want good waterproof boots, you know? All right. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing my good hat. Oh, do I have a not good hat around? I don't know if I do. Dang it. Gotta try to not touch my hat. That's gonna be the hardest thing today. Not touching my good hat with my wax hands. I think my hair is too... See, I just about did it. I think my hair is too ridiculous. Oh, it's not so bad. It's a little ridiculous, but... Jeez. It's tough. Immediately touch my hat. Yeah, I know. I looked at my fingers. I haven't... This hand has been in the boot the whole time. I haven't touched any of the wax. I'm probably going to try and keep it that way as I do things today, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, no, you guys can't let me touch my hat. That's part of the rules. You can't do it. Really just rubbing this into these seams. I've been thinking about this all week. So excited. Really glad to be finally doing this. I just really am. I needed these boots really bad. I've been fighting it. I've been really avoiding buying these boots because they're expensive. But I had multiple people tell me, like, Grant, what the hell? You love boots, and you're like screwing up your ankle walking around in your broke ass boots. So finally splurged and got them. But typical lifespan of a pair of work boots, if somebody is actually working and not just a consultant or doing web development stuff, you can expect a good pair of work boots to last maybe 2 years if you take good care of them, if you're in them every day. So I do a lot of this kind of stuff because I know that boots are kind of on borrowed time always. So if I can add a little bit of lifespan to them, in addition to my own just like not being in situations that are that bad for boots in the first place, I can get these to last a really long time. But like situations that are bad for boots are like walking on the sidewalk in the winter where it's salted, and stepping in a puddle. This is gonna screw up this Made in the USA emblem. Sorry, USA. I don't care. We're gonna mess it up. Make sure to get this edge here on where the grommets are. I think we're just about covered on this one. I'm going to try and shove a little bit more in these seams by the heels here. Really just filling in these cracks with this wax compound. So SNO-SEAL is beeswax based. So it's a beeswax and it's a beeswax compound. There is some lanolin in it. Lanolin is a compound derived of sheep's wool. Additionally, there is, how am I gonna do this? Kind of want my heat gun to be like stationary, and then I move the boot around and wipe it, but I don't know if I have. I have all kinds of tripods and stuff. Let's rock and roll with those. We're gonna back up here just a second. Try and get this very slippery glove off. We're totally gonna make a rig. I've got the technology. We're gonna make a heat gun rig. Take off these gloves before I touch my camera equipment, which we're gonna repurpose into a heat gun holder. All right. You can tell I've thought through this way ahead of time. Okay. Okay. Glove's gonna be ready to go. Okay. So we've got a boom here. Light stand with a boom on it. And I've got a box of clamps like 5 feet away from me right now. I'm gonna use those. Come on, light stand. let's see if I'm going to forget that this is here and just like walk into it. There's a chance that's going to happen. We'll try to avoid it, but you know how things go sometimes. Change the angle of our deal here. And find my box of clamps. Come on, headphone cable. Fun fact about my headphone cable in my studio, it is 25 feet long. And basically I can walk anywhere in my studio without taking it off, which I don't know why I need that. If I don't need it, it's kind of fun. So this isn't sketchy at all. There we go. Okay, we're getting there. Come at this from two sides. That's not long enough. You need a different clamp. On other clamps. See if these are long. What am I doing? Using clamps when I have perfectly good zip ties within arm's reach? Now, if you don't know this about me, I am way too fond of zip ties. I use them in more situations than I really should. I just really like zip ties. They're so dang versatile. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we are in business. Okay, we're gonna maybe move this to the other side of me, so it's not in the way. Oops. All right, here we have our heat gun machine 9000. So we have our heat gun kind of set up. Move my power cable to go the way that I want and not to be up in my biz the whole time. So it goes this way. Power cable goes along here. All right. Rotate my light stand so that the triangle is best supporting the direction that the heat gun is pointed. And there we go. I'm actually going to make this a little bit more up and down, slightly. and extend it a little bit. Okay, here's our heat gun machine. This is how we're gonna do this. This is gonna be great. Try not to roll over my headphones. So what this is gonna do, this frees up my hands to do better hand stuff. Is this the really waxy one? It is. This is the less waxy one. I want to get this on the proper hand. This is my right-handed glove. Good. I just got snow seal on my glasses. Just what I wanted. Oh, great. This is the greasiest wax compound. Yeah, that unsmeared. We love the hand stuff. I don't know, I can't remember what I said. Come on. Come on, gloves. Okay. This is my in the boot hand. And so I'm gonna turn this on. And this is about the right height. That's a little high for me, actually. It's gonna be tiresome. Oh geez, I just touched my camera equipment with my gloves. Shit. Okay, so we got our heat gun rolling. So we're going to just put this slightly closer so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, this is good. So heat guns get very hot. You can badly burn yourself with a heat gun. So as I heat gun on here, you see it becomes more liquid. More liquid. And I'm just going to help it all along with my paper towel here. Yeah, having a stand like this, man, that's slick. I'll let gravity do a little bit of work. So I mentioned it in my Twitter post about today, but in the past I've done this by just keeping my oven at like 200 degrees and putting my pairs of boots in the oven to heat them up, and then apply the snow seal, and then I heat them back up to get it to melt. You know, I had really patient housemates for a long time, and they kind of were like, you know, dude, it's really, I kind of wish you wouldn't put your boots in the oven, because it makes all of us sick, like physically ill from the smell. And I had no idea that that was happening. I'm not bothered by the smell, so I didn't think it was bad. But a good lesson in just being respectful that I wasn't. Well, still pals. Probably one of those things where it's like actually poisoning the whole house. Yeah, probably one of those things where it was just weird enough that, like, I'm sure it was I can't believe anyone would do this. This is so fascinating, like a just a weird, quirky situation to be a part of. But then y'all got sick, and it was less fun. So thank you, any old housemates. Appreciate it. See, this is like a flat kind of look again. This is now fully melted, and a lot of what we have, a lot of the wax we saw on the surface is like totally gone. It's been absorbed into the leather because it got hot. Now I'm making sure not to let this get too close to the heating element because I don't want to like burn them or anything. I mean, these are firefighting boots, so they're probably fine, but boy, this sure does make the arm tired. This is not a light boot. And I've not done any physical activity in months, so funny how that works. Now, SNO-SEAL really only does work with leather products, so you're not going to want to SNO-SEAL winter boots that are made out of plastic or other synthetics and stuff. It's not going to really behave the same. SNO-SEAL is fine for like if you want to make like a waxed canvas or something. Some cloths, standard fabrics, it's going to look okay, but largely it's going to make it look waxy. It's a wax, so. So whatever you do put it on, just be aware, usually sample it on a smaller area first and just see what it's going to look like before you really commit. I've done this so many times with black leather boots that I kind of know what it's going to look like. So I'm kind of redistributing all of the wax as it starts to melt and pile up in certain areas. I'm making sure to spread it around so it can absorb. I'm especially trying to get it into these corners. Does anyone have any leather boots or leather care questions? I also make some stuff out of leather. Not a whole lot. I wish I did more. I need to get back and do it a little more. I don't like how many fibers are getting left on my boots right now. But I really like leather stuff, leather goods. I like how they behave. I think they're very reliable. And most importantly, is you can take care of them and like do things to help them last longer. And there's a lot of other materials where that's not really the case. You can have a pair of or a coat that's made out of a synthetic material, and there's not a lot you can do to like take care of it so it lasts longer. Yeah. I like that. I am proud of that fact. Tony also really likes leather goods. The leather father. That's different than the leather daddy, for sure. Wholly different situation that would be. Totally fine situation. Different situation. No judgment here. There's always that thing though where it's like, oh, you do leatherworking? Oh. Yeah, not that kind. This is not absorbing like I would expect it to. I have a suspicion that this is not leather. This gusset, or it's a different kind of leather, or there's already a treatment on it, because this is quite warm and it's not absorbing. Which tells me that it's just not behaving like material typically does. So I'm not gonna do too many layers on this inside thing. I don't want to like burn the threads or anything like that by letting it get too warm. That is first layer of number 1 complete. Yeah, I could see it just because it's being like it's a waterproofing. Like this area here is meant to be very waterproof. So I could see this being like a, they put a different coating or some other kind of thing on it. It's plasticized in some way that's not just the regular leather. I'm still going to rub it down with Snow Seal and just kind of investigating our work here. Do a little bit more right in this corner. My arm is extremely tired. This is a lot to lift this up like this. It's just like bad body mechanics. So I'm melting this into the seams here. Again, trying not to let it get too hot. If this boot can't handle, 6 inches away from the heat gun for a few seconds, then I paid too much for firefighting boots. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for a moment, and I'm going to just feel my wall outlet a little bit. I want to make sure I don't cause any electrical hazards. Those heat guns pull a lot of current, and so it's good, with space heaters and anything that has a major heating element. When you're first using it in a situation to just check your wires and stuff. I've also almost exclusively lived in old houses, with a few exceptions, and so all the wiring is shit. So it's good to just make sure everything's good to go. All right, here's boot number 2. I'm trying to decide. This boot's still kind of warm. I might actually do 2 layers on this one. Because it's warm, it'll accept it a lot better as I put on the second coat of Snow Seal. But before I do that, I'm for sure switching rags. This one is very much leaving bits all over the place. And, I'm actually going to go get I have a shop towel. Go get that because that's going to have less dust. Got a text message here. Let's see what it says. Some baked bread. Hey there, Tim Beep. What up? We're on boot number 1. We are almost an hour in, and we're on coat 2 of boot 1. I just got a new shop towel here to use because this has less dust to it. You're witnessing this was definitely you've seen a number of obsessions of mine, like different crafts and various things. Doing this was definitely a phase. It was a phase that lasted many years of applying coatings to leather and restoring leather and stuff. I would almost weekly come home, or monthly or whatever, but I'd often come home with, I'd often arrive home from the thrift store with leather boots, and then I'd restore them, leather boots and shoes, and then I'd restore them. And this was one of the major things that I would do. This like super rehydrates and conditions the leather, and it makes it last a lot longer. I don't think I would snow seal your boots though, because you got the natural color, and this snow seal is any kind of wax compound that you melt into the leather is going to severely darken it. So if you had gotten like the chestnut or the walnut color, then maybe we could have considered it. But we'd want to use some non-darkening leather compound. Lexolol has a really nice, which is a fun word to say. Lexolol has a really good compound for non-darkening that I've used for boots before. Nice, cool, yep. That'll work really good. You also want to look into getting, if you didn't already, looking at getting some saddle soap, which I should have, I think I might just have some in the room that I'm in just because I have a lot of this stuff. Cool, that's great. I'm gonna use some saddle soap to clean my wife's boots here before we snow seal them. That's excellent that they use that, yeah. I'm excited for those boots. Those are gonna be cool as hell. I'm not digging this song. Nope. Maybe a weird remix of some sappy song I vaguely recognized. Shipped to a friend in Ireland. Cool. I'll showcase a pair of boots here after a little while, but maybe not tonight, maybe next time. I'm probably going to be snow sealing boots for the next couple of weeks. Take a little break from sharpening. I sharpened most of the things, so next week I'll show you my boots that I got from Budapest when I went to Hungary. I had some custom boots made, and it's really tragic because I got these custom boots made, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna spend this money that's probably best spent on paying back my student loans, which will cripple me in a few years. This is back in 2010 probably. I got a pair of custom-made boots from Hungary, but I had awful taste at the time and didn't really understand like the kind of boots that I should get ordered in Hungary. And so I have like these custom-made boots that are kind of ugly, but I have no one to blame but myself. They're nice boots, and they were fit to my feet. So they measured my feet, and the cobbler like made them for my feet, which is super cool. I don't wear them too often because I'm kind of afraid of them. They're not like that ugly. They're just like, I don't know. I wish, because like they're kind of in similar to this kind of style, right? They're not that different from this. But like I should have gotten some like more like dress boots that were super cool. But instead I got more military style combat-y boots, which is what I was into at the time. I'm gonna do one more. Oh no. That would be a lot of shenanigans for a problem like that. Now if a boot is too small, you can stretch them a little bit. If it's too big, there's not a lot you can do. So if they're slightly too small, let me know. And we can work on that. A lot of what people recommend for new boots that are too small is that you get them like super soaking wet, like in the bathtub kind of wet. So just super soaked, and then you wear them. You can like wrap your feet in saran wrap or something like that, and you put your boots on soaking wet, and you walk around in them until they dry. And that sounds like the most awful thing, but it does work for stretching out boots and getting them to fit right. Yeah, put your feet right into a furnace. Yep. Another thing that people do, I don't know if I'd recommend this one because I feel like you're kind of risking some problems with those shoes, is putting like a plastic grocery bag in the boots and filling them with water and then freezing them to stretch them out. That will also stretch them a bit. Another technique people like to use. That's the one that my mom has mentioned before. I'm a little scared of it. I think my friend Joe has done it before. I've done it before, but I don't know if it... I can't remember how it went. But I'm just worried about like busting seams and stuff, you know? Don't want that to happen. Okie dokie. We are looking pretty good. All these seams have a bunch of wax in them. We're going to turn this sucker back on. And start the melting process. This paper towel is way more sturdy. I really like using this one more. I'm going to let gravity work this in a little bit for me. I want it to get really far into that seam. To really melt in there. And get between the layers. And this is just running on my, down towards the toe. So you got to be careful when you're doing this because the flat parts are going to get really dry as you like really try and focus in on the area. You don't want to focus in too much too because you might melt just the thread. You know, maybe, I don't know about this thread. This might be like super intense thread, I don't know. That shredded them too. So really trying to melt in along the welt here. That's the area that this is attached. Melting in that corner. Oh gosh, I'm so glad that I was able to put together the stand. It makes a world of difference for this project. Let's flip my cloth over. The song is kind of James Bondy, isn't it? I like it. Kind of mysterious. So these are Thorogoods. These are recommended to me by my friends Joe and Adam, who are very heavy boot users. I've never seen anyone damage boots so quickly. And I say that in a good way. Like they work their asses off, and they use their boots as tools. And so this is recommended to me. Joe kind of got us started on that. That was the last one to the party out of the three to get this brand. But I've been really impressed with how they're built. And they're made in Wisconsin. And there's an outlet in Wisconsin you can go to and get them actually quite cheap, which is not what I did. You get them quite a bit cheaper. I think Joe, last time he went, he bought 9 pairs of boots and gave them to all of his family and stuff for gifts. And kept, I think, four pairs for himself. But it seems like a good company. He uses union labor, which I'm all about. The Vimes boot parable. I think about the Vimes boot parable all the darn time. These boots are an excellent example of that. So for those of you who don't know, the Vimes boot parable, and I'll see what I can do to paraphrase. V.E. Kruger, if you want to correct me if I get it wrong. But Vimes is talking about basically the socioeconomic impact of the socioeconomic, how boots are the perfect socioeconomic, I don't know, metaphor or something like that. Hey, Zenhaver. It's that thing that makes you sick when I do it in person by you. So the parable of boots, the Vimes boot parable, is that if you're a poor man or woman, if you are bereft of funds, the nicest boots you can buy are probably like $100 boots. What's the nicest boots you can get? Those $100 boots are going to work great, or even like $60 boots. Shoes are expensive. $100 is a lot of money. And those boots are going to work fine for maybe a year, because they're not made very well. They're not really built very well, but that's all that a cheap pair of boots can get you. We're talking like getting like cat boots, right? Or some other brands are kind of not good, like I don't know, Dickies boots. Get a pair of Dickies boots. They're not going to last you as long as a really good pair of boots. A good pair of boots is going to run you $200-300 at least to get like a really good quality pair of boots. But that good quality pair of boots is going to keep being a good quality pair of boots for years after the cheap boots fall apart. And so it's kind of a nice metaphor for if you're wealthy, it's a lot easier to stay wealthy. Even though in the short term, the boots cost a lot more. If you break it down by month, the boots are going to cost you, it's going to cost you less per month to keep your feet warm and dry if you buy a really expensive pair of boots versus multiple pairs of cheap boots. And I think it's a very apt metaphor. It's very, very accurate. Same thing applies to things like winter coats, any kind of equipment, pots and pans, all those things. You get a good cast iron pan or a good stainless steel pan, like that's going to last you way longer than a normal price range pan out of Teflon, or even a cheap stainless steel pan. How did I do, V.E. Kruger? Did that describe it pretty well? You have anything to add? I'd love to hear your interpretation of the Vimes boot parable. Do you have any additions? But the thing is with Vimes is that Vimes wants the cheap boots because he knows them. He's comfortable with them. He knows how they're going to behave. He knows what they're going to do, and he can read the streets. God, I love that series. It's so good. Side, flip my paper towel here. I'm starting to. So V.E. Kruger says, the crucial bit for me is the ongoing price. That the rich man can spend $300 on his boots once every 5 years, right? Or once, right? And the poor man has to spend $100 in boots forever, per year. Yep. It's good. It's like rent, right? Same thing. The rich man can buy a house. He has to pay property taxes, but he doesn't have to pay rent or a mortgage forever. He just has a house. Whereas if you're too poor to buy a house, then I'm probably going to keep having to pay rent and continue to not be able to buy a damn house. Alright. I'm going to just hit the corners here. Being poor is expensive. Same thing as like grocery shopping, right? Like, I am very privileged in that I can go and I can spend a whole bunch of money in Costco all at one time, knowing that it's going to save me probably hundreds of dollars. Save me hundreds of dollars on just basic goods. Sam Vimes does rule. Although there is some stuff with Vimes about, you know, he tends to really, I mean, he does good with like right and wrong, right? Kind of discerning what's right and wrong. But he also is kind of violent and kind of goes into kind of street fighting violence a lot, which is not a good thing for a cop. In general, though, he's a pretty sterling example of a policeman. I guess you're right. He does punch people, but he doesn't. If I remember right, he's not really a big fan of extrajudicial killing, which is kind of the problem. I'll have to listen to those again. I do love those books. We're talking about the Night Watch series by Terry Pratchett. What is this? Tim Bape says, I saw a lady one time losing her mind in a conversation about food deserts and buying things like bottled lime juice, just saying something like, if you could afford fresh limes every few days, I wouldn't be able to survive. If I couldn't afford it, okay, I'm terrible at reading. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? I wouldn't be able to survive without fresh limes. What a whiner. All right, this boot is ready. We've done 2 layers of snow seal. We've kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It doesn't look any different, but that's okay. We've just melted a ton of wax into this boot. We're ready to go to boot number 2. All right, boot number 2 looks a lot like boot number 1. I'm gonna try something here though. I'm gonna do a preheat. I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of heat, get the boot warmed up, because it's going to accept the wax a lot better when it's a little bit warmer from the get-go. So I'm gonna do 2 layers on this one, just like I did in the other one. That was a little bit warmed up. Yeah, that's a lot easier to apply right now. Got a big goober here. This song is too sad. Sounds like the same song. Yeah, this is good. Like pseudo reggae stuff. God, I find this stuff relaxing. I love doing this kind of thing. It's like one of those things that's just like, it's important. It's like such an epitome of important but not urgent. It's just nice. I like to do this kind of stuff where I know that I can do this every couple of months, even a year, every year. Spend the time to really make sure that this is taken care of ahead of time. Like doing an oil change in a car, greasing all the bearings, which I need to do to my truck. Goodness, it's been a while. It's really good to take care of it this way. Then these are going to serve way better. I was asked today if I make my own boots, and I think that is a goal of mine at one point in my life. I'm thinking I'll give it maybe 5 years. In 5 years, I would like to make my own pair of boots. That's something I would like to do. Yeah. There's instructions, especially like, you know, like especially like more primitive style boots and stuff. Those are a lot easier to make. Maybe not a lot easier, but they're, you know, easier to make by hand and less with a machine. There's a lot of machines that go into making this kind of boot. There's a sewing machine that I'm looking at getting, but I'm not allowed to buy any sewing machines right now. It's just lovingly called the China leather shoe patcher. It's modeled after a Singer shoe patcher machine from back in the day, and it's got like a long arm that you can put inside of the boot, and that's what for sewing a lot of these things that need to be kind of up-ins. You need to have that kind of machine to do it. But it'd be a lot of fun. Make some moccasins, make some other things like that. Maybe I should start sometime soon. Yeah, I was really hoping to. Last year, I was like, hey, next year, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of like leatherworking and canvas stuff done prior to the holidays so that I can have an Etsy store and we'll make some stuff and sell it. But like, man, this year, not really in the cards with all my other projects and stuff. I have other things that have a lot more pressing need for me to pay attention to. And so I haven't been able to really put as much time into crafting as I would like, which is a shame. Hey, for sure, man. Thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Thanks for playing Pyre earlier. It was fun to watch you a little bit. Sorry if these camera angles really aren't the best for this. I don't have my secondary camera here, or my third camera here today. It's upstairs. That is my webcam right now for my office. You gonna get into weaving? Nice. If you need any like looms or anything like that, we should totally build a loom. Zenhever has a 3D printer. We could make some like intricate loom parts, and then we could woodcraft the other ones with a bandsaw. Who was I just talking to that's making a loom? I think Steve, our mutual friend Steve, was recently building a loom. I saw a picture somewhere. We can create literally anything. Yes, we can. So psyched. Extremely psyched for you, Zenhaver. So cool. I'm so psyched for me to use your 3D printer. Sami band weaving, so it's just a small handheld thing. Okay, cool. That's rad. Well, offer stands. You need any machinery for it. I think our friend Shannon, I think, has some kind of loom stuff that she does, some weaving, some sort. Okay, we're ready for melting number 1 here. Trying to make sure to get it into all of the seams. Let me get it in there. Music is so ominous. I kind of like it. I'm gonna leave it. Really getting anywhere where I see some stitching, I'm going to try and force the wax in there so that when it melts it goes in place. Okay. Power on. 10 Beep, I have been thinking about that knife making kit. I might not start with that particular kit and start with one that's less expensive, just to practice, do at least one practice run. And I found like that More knife, the I think Finish Knives brand, does blanks for like $15 or so. But I really want, I wish I could have like a studio in my workshop or something. My workshop's so damn messy right now. But I think it could. I might do a leather handle. So what I'll do is you can do a type of leather where you cut out a bunch of leather coins, little discs of leather, and then you coat each of the discs with epoxy, and then you sandwich very tightly, and I mean very tightly, with a bolt, and like screw with a screw clamp kind of situation. You stack all of the coins of leather onto the shank of the knife, and then when the epoxy hardens, you sand it down to be a nice round shape. You start off with a roundish shape, and then you can make it even smoother. But that's what like S-Wing hatchets and hammers and stuff, that's what they do. It's a common way to make a leather handle, and they're really nice for kind of shock. Like if you have a large shock to the, like with a hatchet where it might be jarring up your arm, doing leather like that, and it has a certain name, I just forgotten it. It's really good for that. And that could be something that we could do in the studio here. Less woodworking focused, and more just cutting out pieces of leather and epoxy in them. Oh yeah? That'd be so cool to make a reindeer handle. Man. Man, my shoulder kills right now. I'm holding this boot up and having this boot hand. So I've been just so patiently waiting for winter, and it keeps not being winter. Really want to get some camping done soon. Right now it's kind of a weird season for it because like everything is just like mud from it being snowy and then not snowy. I don't really want to deal with that too much. Maybe over Thanksgiving weekend, might find some place to be alone and outdoors. It sounds really nice. Warm enough where I wouldn't even need to have my canvas tent or anything like that. Nice, good call. I don't think we're going to do any outdoor lights. We have our indoor lights all put up, and we have them on and listen to Christmas music quite often. It's really nice. Our house that we live in was just like, it was made for cozy winter. It's entirely what it was designed for. My wipey cloth is starting to disintegrate. This leather's really new, and some of the seams are just like too much for this cloth. And so it gets all tore up. So if you're local and have any knives you'd like me to sharpen or boots you'd like me to snow seal, let me know. I'll think about it. If I have time, I'll totally do it. Happy to help out. Probably a couple weeks turnaround time, to be honest. But if you have a hunting knife or a kitchen knife you'd like me to sharpen, a pocket knife, I'd be pleased as punch to help out. I'm so excited to put these on. So they're going to be all kinds of broken in and softer now that I've done this. It's been such a nasty, actually, really nasty long week. Pretty rough. So I've been really looking forward to doing this. And it's just so meditative. Because there's no way to really do it fast. Here we are, an hour and a half into the stream, and I'm halfway through boot number 2. I could really be here doing this all night. But honestly, I probably have to eat though. That was annoying to have to do. But I'd much rather be doing projects, you know. Let's switch the direction here so that it melts down and into the seams more. And not rip off the boot itself. And up here isn't going to need it as much anyway, just based on how I'm going to be wearing these. I'm usually going to have my jeans over the boots, but some scenarios you want to tuck your jeans in. Especially like if you're in any like wood tick territory, or if it's really especially snowy. Going through high snow, it's nice to tuck your jeans in. There's a big buildup of wax kind of along the grommets up here, so that I just melted a lot of that. And there's some really nice brass grommets. They look really nice. Got the inside here. Into the toe area. This is probably the riskiest area for water leaking. Most likely going to happen in this area. I didn't buy any of the waterproof boots. Like, these aren't explicitly waterproof. They're water resistant. So it's really important to do the snow sealing stuff. You can buy boots that have a Gore-Tex lining. Gore-Tex is a really cool material that is breathable yet waterproof. There's a lot of outdoors things that use Gore-Tex. And so if you can get a pair of Gore-Tex boots, you're really never going to have wet feet. Unless they're sweaty, which then you will have wet feet, and that's no good. But it's a different kind of problem. Make sure things in my studio aren't getting too hot. I think they're probably fine. I just realized I'm blowing like concentrated hot air at my computer. It's probably okay. It's a ways away. This is spicy on my hand. Hot. Non-absorb, please. A little uncomfortable. Get this to really melt into that toe area, right into the threads. Hot. The grommets are extremely hot. That just touched my wrist. That hurt. All part of the fun, though. Okay. Believe it or not, that was just layer one. We're going to do that one more time. Oofta. Especially while this boot is still hot, layer 2 goes on way faster because it's already going to like half melt in as we're putting it on because the whole boot is kind of warm. So this one goes on way quicker. But I want to make sure I did 2 layers on the other one, so I should do 2 layers in this boot. This is where having them in an oven is really nice, because I can just like, I could just slap all this on, throw it in the oven for a minute, and then kind of come back. I thought about making a boot oven at one point. I probably should. I'll do this a lot more if I did. But the heat gun works fine, especially in a stand. Probably going to end at about 8 o'clock tonight. I was planning on going until about 7:15 or 7:30, but I kind of want to finish this boot, so that's what we're going to do. We're making some ramen tonight. Gonna be doing some, I mean, it's not like tonkatsu ramen, but it's fancy miso ramen. So we have some leftover like carnitas that we made. And gonna do my typical, I have like a Thai chili paste that I use as a base. Do some of that. Thai chili paste as a base. And then we'll use some Better Than Bouillon chicken stock, along with some white miso. And with that, I'm going to, once I get the initial broth, before I put the miso in, I'm going to cook some pork pot stickers in the broth until they're done, and then I'm going to transfer them to the air fryer after coating them in a little bit of peanut oil. Transfer them to the air fryer to get nice and crispy. And I'm going to shred some carrots, some cabbage, add some peas, maybe some corn, and probably not going to do an egg. Probably not going to do like a soft-boiled egg, but going to make my little omelets that I like to make. I like these little square Japanese-style omelets to go with ramen, and they're quite good. Pretty excited about it, though. Making myself hungrier. I'm quite excited about it, though. Pecan tarts right now. Yeah. That sounds awesome. No worries about working. That's the way to go sometimes. These boots are just, shouldn't do that. Boots are going to get burnt. My cloths are just getting absolutely shredded as I'm doing this. This to run in the proper way. I'm really curious how these boots are going to do on ice. Hey, golf cart. You totally should make a pecan pie. Pecan log? What's a pecan log? That's not how you spell pie. Must be a different thing. If anyone has any leather care questions or questions about leather products or boots or shoes, what to look for, any of that stuff, I love talking about it. Usually can't get me to shut up about it. It puts me in the right mood. We're not too far away from being complete with these boots. We're in the home stretch. My arms are getting tired. So if you miss any of my videos and want to check them out, I upload all my VODs to YouTube. If you miss any of the fine programming here, I'm especially fond of my Sunday night show that I do with Mr. Zenhaber. Do you call them shows? I don't think they call them shows. I'm just fellow kidsing. But if you want to check out Learning the Spark Phone, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. Head on over there. Check it out. A lot of good learning went on with that. I don't have as many good questions this last time, but I'm really digging deep on that subject matter. Really liking all the Arduino stuff. This keeps getting nice and toasted. And melt out the grommets here. Let that go liquid in there. So I'm thinking next week we'll be doing the Wolverine boots. Or it's not Wolverine boots, sorry, the Kodiak boots. Some difference, I guess. Kodiak boots, those are my wife's boots that I totally did not get to today. I'm going to hold those up one more time before we sign off today. Those are in a little bit of, I might do some off-camera repair on them this week prior to snow sealing them. It'll be better to do that afterwards anyway. Goodness, these are lined. And it's just fine if you leave some wax on your boots without having it soak in. It's really okay. It'll collect dirt and dust though, so it's a lot better if you can get it all soaked in like this. That's where it's really going to help it out anyway, is just being soaked in. I'm just so excited to be wearing these now. I've got a nice pair of boots that's not falling apart. Okay. A little bit there. Alright. Whew, that took a lot longer than I was expecting. But it's okay. Done now. It's the upkeep that you expect to have to do. This song is kind of weird. Okay. Keep this out of frame and try not to burn my face with it. That would suck. I should be able to refocus here. Okay. That's all done. This thing is shot. I would maybe sometimes save these, but this is pretty torn up. But here we go. 2 pairs of boots that have been freshly snow sealed. I'm going to get my laces in and then I'm going to call it a stream. These are really long laces. So I like to do my laces like this. I do. See if I can get this in frame right. So I do all the way. So I do across the bottom like that, and I get them all even. And then I go up and through. If these boots were too small for me or I had painful arches, I might go the other way. So I might, if these were, based on how my foot sits in boots usually, it's better to have them really tight, and this is going to be a nice way to get them nice and tight across the top. If I wanted to be less tight across the top, I would go around like this, and then what that does is it kind of like feel like it builds up a little more resistance as you're trying to tighten it. So I like to go this way. This is what I found works the best for my feet, but it's worth noting that different foot shapes do better with different kinds of lacing. I'm getting some wax on these laces. That's okay. Okay, let's lace up the other one. Straight across the bottom. Across. Just so excited to put these on. I kind of wish that I still was doing the oven thing, because let me tell you, putting on boots that are freshly out of an oven feels great. Quite nice. Nice and toasty. So this is a tip for winter camping that I got from a former student of mine who worked with the Federal Parks Division for many years. And she said that if you are doing any winter camping, it's really important to have Nalgene's for water so you don't get so dehydrated. She said instead of getting the big 1 liter Nalgene's, get the half-liter Nalgene's. And then you put nigh boiling water in them in the morning, like when you're doing your tea and stuff. You have nice hot water, and you put them in your boots for a little while before you start hiking, so that you have nice warm boots, because nothing is worse than like having to put on frozen boots before you have to go hike. It's awful. So I'm gonna put these on right now, just while we're chatting. And let's see, let's do this over here. Make sure I don't roll over my nice audio extension cable, which I was actively doing already. Alright. So I'm hoping these are going to be a little bit softened and be, yeah, it's nice and warm. A little bit softened and break in a little bit faster now that I've applied this compound to them. They're a little sticky feeling just from the wax, so I'm sure they're going to get dusty, but that's okay. Dusty isn't a problem, actually. That'll wear off after a little while. If I wanted to, I could apply some polish to them. But, you know, I might do that a little bit later. Definitely don't have time to do that right now. There's a little extra wax that was hidden behind one of the speed laces. And so, yeah, so my next stream is going to be on Sunday. Working on Spark Fun stuff. It'll be a good time if you want to be around at 8 p.m. on Sunday. We'd love to have people chime in, and Zen Haver is going to be on the call as well. And, you know, if you have questions about how stuff works, there's none better than that guy. So it's good to get some of the real and nitty-gritty questions answered about how some of that electronic stuff works, because it just makes such a difference to understand, like, why. So I could have blazed through that Spark Fun kit a lot faster if I didn't have so many darn questions, but it helps me understand it so much more if I have the context. So, let's see, what are we at? 7:55. So the next time we do the Thursday stream, we're going to do these other boots that I have here, which I'll show you in a second. I just literally could not wait to put these on. I'm just too excited. So there we go. Boots on. Nice and fancy. Not flexible enough to do that. So, okay. Next time we're going to be doing these Wolverine, I keep calling them Wolverine boots, these Kodiak boots. And these are my wife's primary winter boots. She wears nice kind of ankle boots. We first learned about this brand of boot and that she liked this kind of boot up in Grand Marais when we visited the Benjamin Franklin store. which has a pretty nice boot selection. That's also where I first learned about Baffins. Baffins are an excellent winter boot. They are like the Arctic Explorer's boot of choice. They go down to like, I think minus like 170 degrees or something stupid like that in their Explorer boots. It's nuts. But I don't need to drink coffee. It's like 8 o'clock. So, gonna be working on these. In the meantime, I'm going to, during the week, it looks like they're both failing in this spot. So, both of these boots are having an issue here where they're separating at the toe. And so I might actually try to stitch this back together, but I have some rubber cement, so I'm going to peel this back as far as I can. I'm going to clean it, and then I'm going to stitch this back together after applying the rubber cement to both sides. So that should add some life to this boot. Make sure that doesn't go south. So, and you know, if it did fail completely, like, it's fine as long as we take care of it. If this starts to really degrade a lot, this leather piece here, that leather starts to degrade, then we're in some serious hurt for these boots. We want to make sure to protect that. And honestly, snow sealing them a bunch is going to help. Going to help with that a lot. So yeah, we'll be doing that. And I think that's about all I got for today. So I hope you folks have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. This has been just very relaxing for me. I've had such a nice time working on this project. So I'm very psyched to be able to share this with you all. This is a nice old hobby of mine. And yeah, let me know if you have anything you want me to sharpen or to snow seal up if you're local. So and I am going to add a stream is finished splash at some point, but I just forgot. I didn't really get that done. So this is going to end a little abruptly, but have a good night, and I'll see you all another day. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for joining, Golf Cart.